Welcome, witches. I am so grateful that you decided to drop by today. Park your brooms by the door, because now the witch is in. Blessed be, witches. I'm Amelia Noir, and I'm here to share with you my knowledge and experience on all things witchy, like spell casting, potion making, and kitchen witchery, to name a few. So if that sounds like your cup of witch's brew, I'd highly suggest that you subscribe so you don't miss any witchy content. Today on The Witch's Inn, we're going to be doing an uncrossing oil. Now, an uncrossing oil removes bad luck, negative energy, curses, hexes, evil eyes, jinxes, and anything like that. Any bad stuff any bad mojo people can throw at you. This is right there. You can keep it nice and handy. If you think you're getting into it, you've got it right there and you can do it right away. So it doesn't get dug in. Because once you get it in, once it's been there for a bit, it's a little bit harder to get rid of. It also rights wrongs, really good for self-defense and justice. So it's also good if, you're having a little dispute with the neighbor. Yeah, comes in handy. That's what uncrossing oil is for. And today we're going to be making it. So you need your mortar and pestle because there are botanicals. All right, I'm going to be using my trusty olive oil. This is just an empty container that we're going to use. And we have peppermint. This is peppermint oil. You can use a botanical or a combination of anything as usual. So peppermint enhances uncrossing magic. That's why we use it. It's really good in anything that you're trying to undo. So like undoing hexes, evil eyes, it's really good for any of those. Even if you don't think you have it, peppermint is great. If you have peppermint and you carry peppermint around with you all the time, it wards, it acts as a ward and keeps all of that stuff away from you so it doesn't take hold. So peppermint is also promotes and brings change. Okay, so it's good if you're moving or if you're getting a new child, like if you're pregnant or expecting somebody like your mother-in-law is moving in due to her health. So things like that. It's really good for even if you're changing schools, like you're going from public school into high school. That's a traumatic experience for a child. You're going from a place where you pretty much know everybody and you're king of the hill, and now you got to start all over again in high school. So it is a little bit, plus they've got that puberty thing to handle too. So this helps with that as well. So we're going to be using peppermint, and the other oil that I have here is lavender. And now lavender is for love, protection, healing. It's great for helping for sleep, calmness, purification, and peace. It just brings you peace, peace of mind, peace in your heart, peace in your household. It's great if you're having a little bit of tension in the household. Just put some lavender in one of those wonderful little air evaporators, and it'll fill the air with the scent of lavender, which calms everybody down. Everybody will get a really good night's sleep and be energized for the morning. Okay, so we're going to be using that oil. This is hyssop. Now, hyssop is for purification and protection. So when you're doing an uncrossing oil, you want it to basically purify and protect all at the same time. It's like kind of like I'm cleaning my floor and waxing it too. It's like mopping glow for witches. It's a great little all-purpose purification and protection product. So we're going to be using our hyssop for that. Then this is asafoetida. Asafoetida is also known as devil's dung, and it's hard. It comes in like little hunks like this. It's a resin. So asafoetida, it stinks. You might want to make sure that you have a little bit of air in your room if you have a problem with things that smell a lot. It reverses hexes, it banishes, it repels negative energy, and it helps in jinxing your enemy. If you want to put a jinx on somebody, use some of this stuff. It works wonders. Okay, so next we have Angelica Root. Now, Angelica Root is great for banishing any kind of negative energy, which is pretty much what all curses and hexes and all of that kind of stuff is. It's all negative energy. So it banishes the negative energy, and then it also attracts positive energy. So it's a push and pull. It's like I'm bringing in this stuff and I'm getting rid of that stuff. I'm bringing in good stuff, I'm getting rid of the bad stuff. So that's what that does. And then we have our rose petals, our wonderful rose petals here. And these are rose petals from the garden. So this is salt. Now you can use this salt in your spells, etc., because it is charged. You just have to remember it's what it's being charged with. So if it has anything to do with rose, you can use this on your altar in place for earth. You can put it in water to purify the water, because it's positive energy. It's peace. It is purity. It attracts luck. It calls in all the good spirits. And it is also good for protection. So it's a very positive element. So anytime you want to add a little bit of positivity into a spell, and you really want to do that, but you can just use the salt. You can bring the salt with you and just add it to water, and you've got the essence of the rose's properties in there. But we're not going to use the salt today. We're just going to use the petals. I just thought I'd throw that in there because it also helps in drying it out so it doesn't mold. You don't want your dried herbs of any kind to mold. That's just not a good thing. They just rot that way. So yeah, this prevents it from molding and keeps the moisture away. So we're going to use the rose petals for that. So since I'm right here and I've got the roses right here, we'll start off with this. These are really hard to grind down, so the longer you have, the better. And if there was salt in here, then I would put it in, because salt is like sandpaper. But a lot of the other products that I'm using are not really that gritty. So I'm going to put that in, and then I'm going to put in the asafoetida. No, that's probably enough. There's probably just like 2 petals in there, 2 big petals. And then I'm going to put in the asafoetida because it's a resin and it's quite hard. So maybe it'll pulverize this a little bit easier. So I want to get, not a great big huge piece, because it's going into the oil. Nasty smell. That's too big too. Okay. Oh. There we go. So I just put a big chunk in there and pounded it a couple of times to break it into pieces. Now because it's a resin, you kind of got to pound. I'll turn down this so you don't get a big loud knock when you hear it. You might not be able to hear my comments very well, so maybe I'll stop doing the comments while I'm pounding. Okay, now because it's an uncrossing oil, so you want to take stuff away because it's kind of like banishing, because you want to get rid of that negative energy. You want to dispel that hex or jinx or whatever that happens to be. So once you get it kind of down and that you can work with it, you want to go around counterclockwise. Okay, so that's this way. Okay, I'll be back in a minute. I'm just going to charge a little bit. Now that we're back, we're going to be adding our hyssop. And I'm a 3-French girl. So, and try and get the powdery stuff because this is kind of like wood. If you look at it, it's kind of like wood shavings, and then you get this little powdery stuff at the bottom. So when I do oils, I kind of like to use the more powdery stuff in my oils, but that's just me. You can do whatever you like. And then the Angelica Root. Angelica Root is pretty woody itself too. It's usually in fairly big chunks like that. So you want to put in a couple of decent chunks, and it's very woody. So it's a bit of a pound here too. I'm just using my spoon here to see. Maybe just a little bit more. Yeah, that's good. Now, I don't have any oil in this, so I'm going to put oil in this first. I like putting oil in it so it just doesn't all just kind of clump on top when you put the oil on top. And I'm just going to use a dropper. I don't pour well. I tend to make a mess. There, now that we've got a good amount of oil in there to start with, I'm going to be putting in lavender. Get the top off. There we go. And I'm going, because there's only 2 essential oils in here, I'm going to be putting in 12 of each. So I can get it to start coming out. There we go. And the peppermint. Some of these lids. And there we go. Okay, so make sure you're going around counterclockwise. Sometimes you tend to just automatically start doing this because that's what you're used to. You just got to pay attention when you're doing the kind of negative type spells. That's how I like mine. Very pepperminty. Kind of like those little round candy cane peppermints that you get at Christmas time. I don't much like candy canes, but I like those little round peppermints. Okay, so I'm just going to charge this, and I might as well do this at the same time, and give it a little bit of a charge before I put it together. Now that we charged that up a little bit, we're going to start incorporating your botanicals into your oil. And letting it start to do its thing. I'm getting more of it on the table than I am in the bottle, which is my usual state of affairs. Have bad aim. I think I'm going to have to wash that. Just made a big mess. This is the last little bit. There we go. I think there's one spoon in and 2 spoons on the table. There we go. That'll be fine. Get in there. Give it a little bit of a stir, counterclockwise, and you can always do a little bit of a chant. Anything like remove negative energy, remove negative energy, remove hexes, remove jinxes, remove curses, remove evil eyes, remove uncross all, whatever. You can, whatever you want to put in there, if you just want to like visualize, or if you want to just think about it and put your energy into it, that's fine. You can do a little bit of a spell. Some people like to do a little bit of a word spell that they put together when they do up their oils. My daughter-in-law likes doing that. She's very poetic. She writes wonderful stuff. It's amazing. Me not so much. I'm not a poet. Okay, let's see. Oh, very nice and pepperminty. No smell of asafoetida, and that's what I'm going for. That's why I like to use a lot of peppermint. It kind of gets rid of that asafoetida smell so you don't smell it, because it is not nice. So we'll put the lid on this, and all we gotta do is put it in my window and let it steep in the moonlight for a little while and charge. But you can use it right away if you wish to. It's just better if it's out in the moon a little bit and get a bit of a charge on it. But that's completely up to you. You can do it either or. And that is Uncrossing Oil. That's all for today, witches. See you next time on The Witches Inn. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button so you don't miss what I have brewing for you here on The Witch is In.